Our stance is, for illegals. We're not gonna step in front of that. That's not our fight. That has nothing to do with us. We're not gonna step into that fight and going through the community defending somebody that we didn't even want to be here. You know what I mean? We got brought over here. We didn't want to be.
I don't think that's the case, because if you didn't want to be here, you would be on an airplane and you would have flown to where you want to be. I'll be honest with you, I never understood,
For illegal.
I never understood the Panthers. I never understood what they've ever accomplished. As far as I can tell, they failed. Instead of them organizing their people and negotiating a resettlement back to Africa where they feel they would be happy and accepted and away and from underneath the thumb of white supremacy, according to them. Instead of doing that and organizing a mass exodus where you would take all your black buying power and your black dollars and take it somewhere else and really hurt the people that you feel are oppressing you, instead, you decide to have gun battles with law enforcement where a couple police were killed, but dozens, hundreds probably of the Black Panthers were killed or sent to prison for the rest of their natural lives. They failed. They never show up when it's a gang-related murder. Thousands upon thousands of blacks in the streets are being murdered every single night by each other. I've never once seen a Black Panther show up to a gang shooting, ever. But if it's a white person involved who's a cop or even a regular civilian, they are going to be all over the scene. So because of that, I never really understood their purpose or where they come in at. So I never agree with it, but at least he sounds like he has some sense. The other fake Panthers are pretending that they want to go to war with the government, but yet you're literally in the same small area of the city that the government's in, but you're avoiding them magically. You're out there with your guns, but you're everywhere there that the government is not. As soon as you know the government's on their way, ICE and federal agents, you guys gotta shift to another street. So I don't know. At least this Panther is making a little bit of sense, but I'll let him finish.
We're not gonna step in front of that. That's not our fight. That has nothing to do with us. We're not gonna step into that fight and going through the community defending somebody that we didn't even want to be here. You know what I mean? We got brought over here. We didn't want to be here, and this is a problem we've had since our shackled feet have hit the soil. So we've always had the SWAT teams come communities doing whatever they're doing, and sometimes, yes, they do pick up the wrong people and things of that nature. This is the same situation. It's just got a different name. It's a raid. It's just a different name. And so yeah, we're not in that fight. But as far as our other brown folks and things like that, we do stand up and defend.
See, that's the thing. What do you mean you stand up and defend? Defend who and how from where? What are you defending? If somebody is going to jail, the Black Panthers are not going to stop law enforcement from making the arrest. If someone's going to be deported, there's never been a Black Panther in history that could stop someone from being deported. The Black Panthers have never even been able to successfully defend themselves. They showed up with guns and they got their asses kicked, and then they've literally been deleted. Like, there's a resurgence of guys that are pretending, but what is the end goal? What is the accomplishment? To still live under the thumb that you consider yourself oppressed. Then that's not really a goal. Then you're really not even doing anything. If you really wanted to help your people, you would move them somewhere else, and you'd form a government of your own, and you would negotiate with another country, and you would ask the United States to help you with a repatriation package of 200 million to start a colony in another part of the world, because you feel that you can run your Black people better than the American government can. You know who else famously did that back in the late 70s? What was it like the 200%? What were they called? Let me see here. Let me ask Arthur. Let me see here. Hey, Arthur, what was the name of the Black group that left the United States and moved to Israel like in the late 70s, early 80s? They were like the 20%ers or 200. What was the name of that group that moved, the Black people that moved to Israel? What were they called?
Certainly, Rico. The group you're referring to is known as the Black Hebrew Israelites. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, members of this community moved from the United States to Israel, believing they were returning to their ancestral homeland. They were not called the 20%ers or anything similar, but Black Hebrew Israelites is indeed the group you're thinking of.
Okay, thank you very much, Arthur. So there were organized exodus, but the Panthers could have basically jumped on board and they could have literally saved their people. But instead, they convinced their people to fight pointless battles on the streets against law enforcement that they have no chance of winning. Because even if you win, you lose because you're going to go to prison. Or you're going to be like Asada Secure, who could never return to the United States, and she lived in exile until she passed away. The point is, you have an option. If you don't like something, you can change where you live. No one's forcing the Black Panthers to be here, the Israelites. No one's forcing the illegals. No one's forcing anyone to be here. So it's crazy. Everyone's willing to die to stay in a place that they hate. And it doesn't really make sense to me. So when you see the Black Panthers talking about what they're going to do and how they would jump in and protect who from what? You cannot stop the federal government from enforcing its own laws. Any country you're going to go to has laws. You might think that Mexico is lawless. It's not. They have laws in Mexico and you can go to jail. You think Africa is lawless? Go to Nigeria. Go to Ghana and break the law. You will be put into prison. You're going to be thinking to yourself, wow, I didn't even know the Africans are the Nazis too. Think about it. What does everybody say about the Nazis? They had police and they had laws. And if you broke the laws, you were arrested and sent somewhere. It's just like every other country. So there's nothing special about Nazi Germany. Everybody has places that they send people who break the law or people who are trying to subjugate their government and overthrow it. That's a natural part of the dynamic. And that's why we set up governments in the name of public safety. So yeah, the Panthers are sitting here, but they're more like ceremonial than anything. I don't really see what they can't stop Black people from getting arrested every day for committing crimes. So how are you going to stop law enforcement from arresting illegals? You can't defend criminals, and nobody's just bullying and harassing people for no reason. You're not able to defend anyone. You can't even help yourselves. But now you're pretending that you're turning down assisting illegals. It doesn't make that wasn't on the table in the first place. There was never any option to stop law enforcement from carrying out their mission. You got to understand what it calls for when you want to live in this country. If you don't like the rules, instead of getting yourself killed or put in prison, just leave and go somewhere else. You have that option. Oh yeah, we didn't want to be here. Then why are you still here? As soon as you grew up, you could have just got on a plane. A lot of people leave the country and never come back. What are you still doing here? Why do you still volunteer to live under white supremacy and Trump and ICE when you can leave? The airports are functioning every single day. There's flights leaving out of the country every hour on hour. Just take one. Like I said, I don't see the point of what they're doing. I think it's more so just ceremonial and just to kind of pretend that they're relevant. But none of them are, and none of them are going to engage with law enforcement to stop anyone from doing anything. Just if you have that hope in your heart, you might as well get over it. Not going to happen. Like and subscribe, share the video. I'll be back on with another subject in about 20 minutes. America first and America.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.